Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you are in the Prog Corner. And today, man, I am reviewing an album. Well, I've been threatening to review this for a few weeks now, and I'm finally ready. And it does prompt the question, should I be reviewing albums from artists with whom, I have a relationship, I'm friends with? Does it slant or skew my review in some way? Well, it's a valid point, and we did have the great Dave Bandana on the show last week talking about Iron Maiden, which was just great because I can't think of anything more diametrically opposed than the Bardic depths and Iron Maiden. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I've got a way around the subjective versus objectivity aspect of reviewing. Hey, if I don't like an album, I'm not going to review it. So problem solved, and I'll just come up with an excuse. I'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. Yeah, I couldn't get around to it. My desk is, littered with the albums. I can't, the queue is just too long. I can't get around to it. So yeah, there's ways I could do it without hurting people's feelings. But yeah, today I am reviewing Dave Bandana's band, The Bardic Depths, and their third album, What We Really Like in Stories. Yeah, these guys, Dave Bandana had been working with Brad Berzer for a while, and he actually writes all the lyrics for all these Bardic Depths albums. This is their third album, released on their own label, but distributed via Robin Armstrong's Gravity Dream. And apparently this whole project kind of came about via the Big Train Facebook forum. They call themselves Passengers, and I guess this was how they kind of met and started talking about doing something like this. And yeah, the music does bear a striking resemblance to Big Train, but I'm actually hearing another modern prog band, even more than Big Train. Get into that in a minute. So who are the Bardic Depths? Well, it is, of course, the one, the only Dave Bandana. Man, that guy's so cool. He plays bass, keyboards, and sings a couple tracks on here. He is joined by the one, the only, the incomparable Peter Jones on vocals and sax and clarinet. He, of course, from Camel and Tiger Moth Tales and Scion and all kinds of stuff. Peter Jones is everywhere, and he's awesome. On guitar, we've got Gareth Cole, a cat that plays in a band called Fractal Mirror. And on drums, it's Tim Gert. He was Steve Walsh's drummer in the band Streets. This guy is kind of the show stealer here. He is definitely the MVP of this album. And the album was produced by Dave Bandana and Robin Armstrong, mixed and mastered by Cosmograph's great Robin Armstrong. He doesn't play on this album, but he did on the first two, I think. It's just the four guys playing on this one. Their debut album came out in 2020. It was self-titled. Good record. I liked it. Things got better in 2022. Their sophomore album, Promises of Hope, kind of is where this sound originated from, with all the players being on their second album. That leads us to this great third album, What We Really Like in Stories. The idea here, the story that Brad concocted, is a bunch of unrelated stories about authors, about writers, and their work. So this is a real bookish kind of record. If you're a literary person, you're probably going to really enjoy this. If not, maybe the subject matter isn't quite to your taste. So it's not exactly a concept album, but they're all held together by that literary thread. It starts with a 1-minute track called Genius. It's an instrumental with the synthesized orchestrations. Real good job. Dave does some great orchestrations here, coming up with those really cool sounds that approximate an orchestra. It's in G minor, and then you get some really cool guitar stuff, and before you know it, it's over, and that leads you right into the first proper song, the title track, What We Really Like in Stories. Yeah, that intro was in G minor. Now we flip the script and we're in G, and you got some, up-tempo violin and stuff going on. This song is about C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien kind of splitting up their areas of responsibility. One will do time travel, the other do stories about space. So the keys and the strings come in, and it's sprightly, it's up-tempo. When the guitar and drums kick in, you're in for something special. And you know, they are technically a neo-prog band, but I'm going to give Gareth some love here. A lot of neo-prog guitar players in the neo-prog sphere feel a weird need to sound exactly like Steve Hackett. Here he's sounding a whole lot like Steve Howe, so I definitely appreciate that. They go through the whole verse and chorus instrumentally, which is really cool. A good idea. You go around the horn one time. That way when the vocals actually come in, you know the chord progression, you know the melody. Peter Jones vocals, man. I don't know how many times I need to say it on this channel, but Peter Jones's vocals, man, just so good. And yeah, he does have a little bit of a David Longdon thing going on. So yeah, there's a little parallel to Big Big Train there. There will be more later on in this album, particularly the final track. But next up is a song called You've Written Poetry, My Boy. It's 5 minutes long. And this song is about Aldous Huxley describing the words of Ray Bradbury as being absolute poetry. Sure, why not? It's a cool chord progression. You got the strummed thing, strummed acoustic guitar. We're going from C major to E major. And, if you're a guitar player, you certainly know how cool those two chords sound together. And then in the chorus, we go to G minor, E flat minor, C minor, then an implied D7 to get you back into G minor. But just such a cool chord progression. You got Dave Bandana singing on this track, and I swear he sings a whole lot like Bill Jefferson from another band that takes their cues from Big Big Train. And the band I'm talking about is Capricar's Constant. And if you put into account Peter Jones's saxophone, approximating what David Jackson does in Capricar's Constant, yeah, this song sounds a whole bunch like it. There's an excellent, cool middle section, unexpected, goes into minor key territory, and then it bounces right back. Yeah, just a great song. I am going to put a link in the description of this video to the official music video for that, because it's a really cool video. You should watch it. Next up is one of the two mini epics. It's called Vendetta, and it's 9 minutes long, and appropriately enough, this is about Alan Moore, specifically his book V for Vendetta. It starts out with an acoustic guitar. You're in C sharp here. I think you've got both Peter and David singing at various points on this track. You got kind of a heavier riff here, which is definitely welcome. Very unexpected, very cool, but the chorus is super poppy. So you got a lot of different things going on here. Very cool vibe. Throughout this song, it takes its time. It's not in any hurry getting to where it wants to go, but I'm there for the journey because it's all awesome. And there's some cool lyrics in here. Strength through purity, purity through strength and faith, whatever. Cool song, Vendetta. I love it. Next up is a short track, and it's just dynamite, man. It's called Old Delights. It's only 2.5 minutes long, but man, it's got one of the best vocal melodies I've heard in a long time. Sung, of course, by the great Peter Jones. You're in B here. It's just basically guitar and Pete through most of this. And then the Tony Banks like keyboards kind of pick up to progress, create your best. It's short. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And I love it, man. I kept hitting, replay over and over on that. Next up is a song called The Feast is Over. And this one's about Robert E. Howard, cat that wrote Conan the Barbarian. It starts with the church organ, really cool, and the choir in the background. I'm like, all right, we're going someplace really nifty here. But it changes gears. You get an acoustic guitar strumming in B, and then he goes to B major 7th, which, of course, to all you music theory geeks, you're implying the 5 when you do that. So yeah, he does, in fact, go down to the F sharp major, when the song kicks in. But it's cool. It's a cool effect. Dave is singing this song. His voice is real fragile and delicate, but oddly effective. Has his voice gotten a little bit better? I think it has over the course of the last 3 Bardic Depths albums. He's sounding good. The one complaint I have about this song is the hook gets repeated probably, 4 or 5 times too many. And the feast is over. The love's expired. probably sings that line a few too many times, but the string arrangements on this track are dynamite. It's really good. I love it. Next up, the penultimate track called Still Point. It's kind of the oddball here. It's a little different than the other tracks. We're using programmed drums and, electronics and stuff. This song is about an author, named Walter M. Miller, of whom I know nothing. So you've got a lot of atmospherics on this track, almost making you think maybe like Peter Gabriel with the Fairlight synthesizers with all the sampling noises going on. Again, you've got Pete and Dave singing here, and Peter's saxophone on this track, just amazing. This song kind of floats, kind of takes its time, but it's really cool, and I think we really needed this track in the sequence because it leads up to the longest song on the album, the final song on the album, and the coolest song on the album. It's called Whispers in Space. This is about Robert Rankin, who was a steampunk author, and it starts with some narration and whatnot. And it gets into some spy music almost, some up-tempo stuff in D, really fun. And then a whole big train section comes in and totally making me think of that band. Absolutely. And the fact that there's a line in there about folklore is restored doesn't hurt any. And then as the song gets to its outro, the line is Captain of the Skies flies again. Are we singing about David Longdon? It sure sounds like we are. I think we are, but why not? It's a little homage to the late great David Longdon. And so this band definitely owes a debt of gratitude to Big Train, but I don't really think they sound a whole lot like him. In a couple spots, they definitely do. Like I said, they sound a whole lot more like Capricar's Constant. If David Jackson's daughter Dory was along for the ride, they would sound exactly like him, actually. So what's my score going to be on this one, Davey? I hope I'm not going to disappoint you, but I'm giving this one 8.5. 8.5 out of 10 feels right. It is right. This is a Dynamite album. The only thing missing from this sucker, I feel, is that one absolute killer track, the one that you just can't get out of your mind. Old Delights is probably the closest thing here, and it's just 2 minutes long, so it hardly counts. But what an accomplishment. What a great album. I've been listening to this thing nonstop for a month, ever since Davey sent it over to me. Thank you, Dave Bandana. You're awesome. And thank you, Robin Armstrong, for believing in these guys. Peter Jones for coming along on the ride. And I gotta say, man, Gareth Cole's guitar playing and Tim Gert's drumming. The drumming is so tight on here. That real high frequency, real snappy snare drum that Bruford used to use all the time. Just cool. I love this album. Like I said, 8.5 out of 10. Anyway, tomorrow, man, is going to be awesome. Yes, we are ranking all 34 Hawkwind albums right here tomorrow. It's going to be awesome, so stick around for that. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East, free Tibet, God save the king, and thoughts and prayers for Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Yeah, I don't know her, but she seems pretty cool. So, Kate, we love you. Get well soon. And God save the king. Save King Chucky. Absolutely, that boy could use your saving. King Chucky says, hit that subscribe button, boys and girls. Subscribe to the Prog Corner. And he's got the cancer, so it's real hard for him to do it. But I say, bring that boy to America. We'll take him to church on Sunday, and we'll do some spells and incantations, and then we'll dance with snakes, and he'll be all right. Anyway, I'll see you punks tomorrow for Hawkwind. Peace.